Adam and Eve, the first adventure in the garden. In the beginning, there was the Garden of Eden, a paradise of unmatched beauty and tranquility. Here, Adam and Eve lived in perfect harmony, surrounded by the bounty of nature. Their days were filled with joy as they named the animals, tended to the garden's lush flora, and reveled in the splendor of their surroundings. This routine brought them closer to each other and the natural world. Amidst the garden's wonders stood the tree of knowledge of good and evil, a majestic presence that was both inviting and foreboding. It held a mystery that intrigued the inhabitants of Eden. However, a divine commandment was clear: they must not eat the fruit from this special tree. This lone prohibition was a test of their will and obedience, a boundary set within paradise. Then, the serpent, the most cunning of all creatures, made its appearance. With its smooth words, it slithered into the story, ready to challenge the tranquility of Eden and its guardians. In the lush expanse of Eden, the serpent, endowed with unmatched cunning, approached Eve. Its words, honeyed and persuasive, began to weave a web of doubt within her mind. The serpent questioned the prohibition set by God, cleverly suggesting that the forbidden fruit held the secret to wisdom and godlike knowledge. Its insinuations hinted at a hidden motive, sparking curiosity in Eve's heart. Eve, now swayed by the serpent's crafty discourse, found herself contemplating the fruit of the tree of knowledge. The once clear boundary set by God began to blur in her thoughts. The allure of wisdom and the serpent's convincing argument overwhelmed her initial hesitance. She stood before the tree, its fruit suddenly more enticing than ever, a forbidden treasure within arm's reach. Yielding to temptation, Eve plucked the fruit, its skin smooth against her fingers. With a mixture of anticipation and trepidation, she tasted it. The sweetness of the fruit was unlike anything she had experienced, a momentary delight that heralded a profound change. Compelled by a newfound sense of sharing, she offered the fruit to Adam, who, trusting Eve, partook in the act. The instant the fruit passed their lips, a wave of realization washed over them. The world seemed to shift, innocence lost in a single bite. Awareness of their nakedness dawned, bringing with it a cloak of shame. The simplicity of their existence in Eden was shattered, replaced by a complex awareness of their own vulnerability. As they scrambled to cover themselves with makeshift garments, the sound of God walking in the garden sent a ripple of fear through their hearts. They hid among the trees, their minds racing. The serenity of Eden was pierced by the gravity of their disobedience, the weight of their choices settling upon them like a shadow. The impending confrontation with God loomed over them, a stark contrast to the harmony that had once defined their paradise. In the tranquil expanse of the garden, tension mounted as God sought Adam and Eve. Their unity with nature was shattered, replaced by a heavy silence that presaged the impending confrontation. The divine presence, once a source of comfort, now evoked fear as they hid, draped in makeshift coverings, their innocence lost. The air was thick with accusation as God's voice broke the silence, questioning their actions. Adam, in a moment of desperation, pointed to Eve, introducing blame to their once harmonious existence. Eve, in turn, blamed the serpent, its cunning now a curse upon them all. This cycle of blame marked the erosion of their unblemished partnership, a stark departure from their initial unity. The consequences of their choices were swift and severe. The serpent was cursed to a life of enmity with humanity, a perpetual reminder of the deception that led to the downfall. Eve faced the promise of pain in childbirth, a stark contrast to the life of ease they once knew. Adam was condemned to toil, the ground no longer a friend but a foe, demanding sweat for sustenance. In a poignant act of mercy amidst judgment, God fashioned garments of skin for Adam and Eve. This act symbolized a profound transformation, from innocence to the awareness of their nakedness and vulnerability. It was a tangible reminder of their fall from grace, a life of simplicity exchanged for one of complexity and struggle. Their banishment from the Garden of Eden was the final act in their tragic saga, a merciful yet painful prevention from accessing the tree of life. Cast out into a world unknown, Adam and Eve faced the daunting task of forging a new life, a life marked by the consequences of their choices, far from the paradise they once called home. Banished from the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve faced a new reality. This drastic change prevented them from accessing the tree of life, forever altering their existence. Outside the garden, life was harsh and unforgiving. Adam and Eve had to quickly adapt to their new surroundings, facing challenges they never imagined in their former paradise. The birth of their children marked the continuation of human life. Despite the hardships, Adam and Eve managed to provide and care for their growing family, instilling in them lessons of survival. Through their experiences, Adam and Eve learned vital lessons about obedience, responsibility, and the consequences of their choices. These teachings would shape the future of their descendants. The moral of their story emphasizes the significance of following guidance and discerning between right and wrong. It serves as a timeless reminder of the importance of making wise decisions.